G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Pierre and this is Simple Homebrew. If you haven't known this channel, about 3 to 4 years ago I built this brew shed from scratch basically. I bought the kit and put it all together and built this shed for my brewing channel and my hobby, and I'm really enjoying it. Just a few things I need to redo and upgrade. I did a brew series, like a brew shed tour series. Series 1, which is available at the moment on the playlist. I'll put the playlist up here. I got a few ideas from them and I thought, I'm going to do that myself. And I needed to upgrade this shed. So thanks to YouTube income and Patreon support and a bit of support from elsewhere, I've been able to buy a few items to get this shed close to a bit more efficient and easier to work in and a bit more fun to work with. So today I'm going to show you Today, I've bought myself a sink. This is a Mirabella sink. Costs about, well, the retail on it was about $600, which comes with all the little bits and pieces you need except for the pipe work. I got it for about $5.50 because I have a mate's trade card and I was able to get it a little bit cheaper, so that's really good. Now I've been saving for this for a little while and I finally got it. What I've decided I'm going to do, I've made a plan up. This is my plan. Basically, I drew it. It's a bit rough, I know. It's to sort of scale. So 2300 millimeters is actually 23 millimeters, 230 millimeters along here. So the actual scale is 1 to 10 to 1 or something like that. So I roughly put this together. All the measurements there, so I don't just ignore what I've written there. So basically, we have this area. All this area here, from the left, well, basically I'll show you. When I walk in the door, to my right, I have a fridge. This is my spirits area and mash tun, or what do you call this? Hot water tank or hot liquor tank, hot water tank. That will be moved over to this side. My grandfather will be moved over to the left. And my sink will be here under the window. It's actually halfway between, so it should sort of sort it out there. So there's the sink. You won't see the fridge. So this is up till, that corner is up until this spot here. The idea is to put the sink in on the right hand side, have a spot for my grandfather. I'm going to put a little cover over the top so it's hidden away. And a bit of bench space on the left hand side over here. So I'm hoping that will work out really well. So this sink has got a few features about it, which I quite like actually. One, it's got cutting boards, so I can probably do some food preparation in here if I want to, basically for when I have barbecues and stuff like that. It's also got like a little tray to just sit things on, so if I need to put things on, they can just sit there. That's all rubber. This is it's like a dirt catcher. So if I've got dirty product, I can drop that in the bottom here, over the drain, and it will sit on top and allow the dirt to sit underneath, so it will catch all the dirt so I don't lose or don't get products dirty as easy. It also has fittings. These are the drain plugs, drains. I shouldn't be taking all this apart, but I'm going to show you anyway. This one here is the clamps to clamp the actual unit to the bench, so when I get to that point I'll use them. And of course dishes like drain pan, which I probably never use either. But you don't need to see that. But this is it. This is my sink. Really good condition, very quiet, not rattly, noisy. And this is going to be installed right there, about 900 mil up. So that's the start. So the first thing I have to do is strip the shed out from that corner and that end there. So that bench there, this bloke, is an old bed. This one I repurposed a bed and placed it there for my brewing purposes, but I'm getting rid of that. That's all coming out. The stuff that's underneath is also going to have to come out, and I'll start measuring up for the new sink. So I'll start stripping the place. So that's that part. I'm pulled all the stuff out of the corner I'm going to be working on, and now I'm going to start measuring, get the right heights, and start cutting my old bench and make it a new bench. It's going to be fun. First I'm going to work on the sink side. Maybe I can work on the bench side first to get the practice, and then do the sink side next. I think I'll do that. Alright, I'll get into it. Alright, what I'm going to do is measure 500 from that edge up until the middle, which is 500 here. And my sink should fit in the middle. So I'll pop the sink, just to double check that my measurements are correct. Yeah, they say. Good choice. And we're in the gap. So we're right in here. Right. There's my 500 mils here. We're going to put that on the end so it's a little bit more lip. Okay, so that's cut to 500 mil. Now I am going to detach this part on here off these, and I'm going to bolt that to this to make my bench. Okay, so the next part of this job is cutting that piece to the right length so I can place it where I want to place it, and cleaning it up a little bit. I'll sand it all back and make it look nice once I'm done. But first, I need to get my measurements. Right, the sink side. No, I wasn't working on the sink side, but I will work on the sink side now. Decided. Sink side is 1,100 millimeters long, so I'm going to have to cut that 1,100 millimeters. Right, we'll do it now. Alright, now we're going to start putting it together, bit by bit, and hopefully the best. Alright, so I just ended up at Bunnings and grabbed myself a heap of planks, heap of wood. Cost me 120 bucks for the lot, even with the plumbing, some of the plumbing I got as well, and some screws. Not bad, pricing's pretty good. Got stopped by a mate, ended up having a good old yak for a while. I had to rush, so I didn't film anything, but I'll show you what I got once I get home. So where I'm at the moment is I've got a bit more wood than I need, just to make sure I've got enough. I've put in, I bought 900 mil legs, so all behind, just cheap. 900 mil legs, they're going to be the height, so it's going to make it about 920 mil high, which is what I like. And I'm going to now start putting the legs on the actual tabletop or the bench top. With a bit of work, I have to work it all out. It's just how it is, you know. And get that ready for its upright position. Put a cover over the top, screw it down, and put bracing in the base so it can hold the sink in place properly without falling over. Brace that against the wall, and then cut my sink out. I think I'll cut my sink out once it's braced to make it a lot easier, stop it from falling around, because I'm going to put electric saw on it. I'm not going to do it all by hand, that's just ridiculous. Once that's done, I'm going to install the sink. So here we go. Now because I'm using second-hand gear, I'm just recycling an old bed. This is actually an old double bed that I used for 20 odd years. I recycled it, make a bench out of it. It's going to work. It might be a bit rough, but you know, I have to cut some pieces out of it to make it work. I've got this reciprocating saw, so I'm going to cut this, pardon me, piece out here, as well as a little bit from there, sorry about the shadow there, to make my new made legs, this thing, fit. Okay, so I'm at a point now I need to attach the legs, or put the legs together, the first lot anyway. I'm just trying to experiment a bit first to get it together. I know it's a bit rough, got a little bit of crack in the pine, but it's going to happen. I'll put a little bit of filler in there to make it look good. This will be attached right here, that way around. And what I'll do is I'll have to cut a piece out of this using my reciprocating saw, and that piece there. Just quickly cut a slot down, just so I can fit those legs in. So here we go. Okay, so that's the beauty there. I need to put cross member there on each end, and that should be enough. What I had to do is, when the sink goes in, I have to brace this so that you can handle the sink, which you probably could anyway, but because I'm going to cut a big square out here where the sink goes, I need to reinforce these slats. So I put a couple of little pieces in here for the sink size, and always the other one. They're going in like that. So the sink will fit within this area now, and they've also got a place to clamp to when I tighten the sink down. All I need to do now is get a couple of cross members across here on each side, and that should solidify it a little bit better. That's right, yes, that's right. So there you go, so pop the screws in, just put 3 on each end. It doesn't need to be fully strong, it just needs to be able to hold the sink in place. That's all it has to do. Next part, cross bracing. Okay, so I had a bit of a dilemma trying to figure out how I'm going to cut this while it's already set. But what I've done is I've marked my lines exactly where I need to cut to. That way I don't damage anything, and I've numbered each slat accordingly. That way I can take all the slats out, the ones that I need to cut, which is 10 of them, and cut them individually and then put them back in again. Oh, it's going to work. I reckon it will. It definitely will. I'm sure. We'll give it a go, eh? I almost buggered that up. It just occurred to me that I'm going to cut these things completely off. So if I take all the slats out without numbering every single one of them up to 20, from 1 right through to 10, I'm going to be cutting them off. Oh, and that's not going to work either. Bugger, because they're going to be gone. So I have to number the other side. Lucky I saw that. I'm going to go 10, and then I'm going to go 11. So 11, 12. What's that point numbering in? 13, 14. Now I'm going to tip it up and start numbering on the top of these, so I know which one's which. From 1 to 10, 11 to 20 on top. Where's 1? That's 1 there. So now I have to pull them all off and make 20 new cuts. All right. Alright, so I've roughly cut that. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're not going to see any of the cuts I've made. Here it is. That's the opening for the sink. Then I'm going to drop the sink in and see what it looks like. Alright. Doesn't fit. Okay, I went back and looked at all the instructions. And guess what? I stuffed up. I meant it for under mounts, not over mounts. So all these blocks that I put in, didn't need to do it. So they're all coming out, and I'm hopefully going to be able to readjust this by removing those strips I put in to space it out so I'd have enough room, and then readjust everything and go again. So I'll get to do that. Open up the space so I've got something to work with. I'll get back to you. Alright, so I'm enclosed. It's starting to rain. That's why I'm in here anyway. And it's cold. So I'm going to have to take off. What I stuffed up with is this measurement here. Between there and there. I actually measured it for the undermount of the sink where I wanted to actually put on top. I don't know why I didn't think or read it properly, but luckily I didn't glue anything, so all this can come out. These little strips can come out. I can probably use them anyway. Right. Now taking this out, I should be able to grab my sink and it should just drop in there. But I want to put it in. So yeah, so it's going to drop in nicely. I've still got enough space for everything anyway. So that worked. I've got to get the other part to lift that. It's got to go under there. And I'll need to now run strips along here inside just to fill that space up. There we go. That's better. So this is my rough up. I'm now going to give this a sand, just to smooth all the edges out. Once I've done that, I'm going to whack a bit of colour on it, a bit of varnish, just to clean it up, make it look at least a little bit decent. And then put a bit of clear on it to make it look nice, and then just let it dry for a couple of days, and then put the sink in. Alright, I'll come back to that. So as you can see, I'm slathering it on willy-nilly, not just rough, because it's really perceived as a rustic setup. It's basically made to look, now it is anyway, I wasn't going to, but I've decided to do that, like it's been recycled from old material, which basically it has. Alright, so the thing is, I want to let this set. I'm not going to do the legs yet because I want to put more bracing on it to make shelving. And plus I can do plumbing in there as well, so I don't want to destroy everything. I'll leave my brush in some turps. Got half a bottle of turps sitting in there, might as well leave it in the bottle. And I'll come back tomorrow now, let this set. Come back tomorrow. First thing I'll do is clean up all the mess I've made, and then start the next bench, which is over here. That's the second bench, and have a look at how this turned out by tomorrow. It may need another coat yet, I don't know, but we'll work that out when it happens. Alrighty, tomorrow is the next job. See you soon. Okay, so I've done the cleaning up a little bit. I've made it look a bit better, a bit more room to move, things that don't, make sure I don't trip on everything. Swept all the dust out the door, and now I'm going to have to give this another coat. Now the thing is, I'm going to put braces along here to strengthen it a little bit, because it's solely going to hold the sink. Basically, there's no, probably not going to be much stored under it. Maybe on this side I can probably put a fermenter, because the pipework's going to come down and down into the floor. So I'm going to have to drill a hole in the floor after I place this unit in place, and then I think I'll install the sink. No, I won't. I'll give this another coating, and I'll start building the other one now. So now I'm on the second part and it's pretty dreary outside. It's a mess, of course, that I've got from the shed that I've taken out, that I will be putting most of it back. I'll be throwing some stuff away. So far, cleaned up, of course. There's the table. I do need to put a gloss on that yet to protect it a bit more. And now I'm starting on the second part. Cut the piece. Need to cut that now to 800. Cut the other piece to 800, and then I'll start putting it together. So I hadn't filmed the last 2 hours, maybe 4, maybe 5, 4, because I went to Mafco Brewery and Distillery in Mafra, and I had lunch with a friend and walked around. I'll show you the pictures of that. It was unbelievably beautiful there. Guys, I recommend it. They are still renovating and building, and I don't know how long before they're up and running properly, but as it goes, it's running really well at the moment. Right, so where we are now is this. This is a second bench. I just finished putting it together. The first one has a sink in it. I'll give you a proper look at that later. I've finished that. That's ready to go. So that's something we're going to be looking at. The kegs sit under there really nicely. So hopefully the pipe work, when I put it in, it's going to come down, go across, come down into the floor. So hopefully I can get that done before Sunday this weekend and be able to use it. I just put the parts together. This thing, like I said, cost me about $550 for the stainless steel sink. Good quality. Sits in the nice looking rustic tray that I made and the system I made. It's a bit of mucking around. This one, I'm going to make it look like that, so it looks the same. I need to get a sander out and just quickly sand it to buff it back a bit. I don't want to make it look new. I want it to make it look rustic. That's what this shed's all about, and that's how I'm going to do it. Once I'm done, I'll show you the finished product. I might do a time lapse on the painting of it. And once the finished product is done, I will repack the shed and I'll have a beer. So we'll see you then. Hey guys, it is day 3. I've been flat out. I haven't had a chance to work on it again, but it is about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday, and I've got a bit done. That table is finished. Now I'll put some light on. That bench is finished. So it's just been coated with varnish to make it just more waterproof. I've got to put the little end caps on here, both sides, so I can put my bench top in here, so I can actually use this bench space as well. And that's that. So now we've got to work on the sink. So I'm working on plumbing the sink in. Now I'm going to bring the pipe from here to here and straight down into the floor. No S-trap, no nothing like that. It is a shed. I'm not worried about that at all. So that's what I'm going to do now. What I've got, took me a bit of mucking around, is the parts I need. Basically, I do have the glue already, so I only need to put some thread tape on these. They thread onto here. How many times is it going to do this take? There. They thread onto here. That attaches to this bloke. This bloke will go over that to adapt it to a 65mm size, as I've gone to 65mm. That'll go in there. Then I have my right angle joggy. That goes on there, and that will go onto a pipe, which I have here. This bloke, that'll cut to the right length until it goes over to here and connects to my T-piece, which goes T-part, which will go about here. Hopefully it'll all line up perfectly. I hope. We'll soon find out. Well, it's been a bit of fun trying to get this to go. I do have my pipes done. I had to go to Bunnings a couple of times because I broke a few things. The join wasn't correct. The grey pipes don't really fit well in these pipes. It's got a crack in it, hasn't it? No. In the white pipes. I didn't realise, because I'm not a plumber, that your downpipes for my house are different a little bit to the grey pipes for your sinks. I think that's how it works. Or it's the other way around, one or the other. But anyway, I got it to work. Eventually, I got it all in, all set up. Just need to join my pipe, outdoor pipe, to here, and that's the finished job. Okie dokie, my friends. I am going to try this for the first time. I'm hoping and it works. Just hooked up the wire to the water, and I turned the water on. Let's see. That's off. All right. We're going to put some water in. Haven't been used for a while. No leaks there, which is good. It was leaking the other day, and I'll have to readjust that. I'll fill this sink up just a little bit. We'll fill this one go on. We've got leaks yet. Nothing I can see. Not on this side anyway. That's that one on that. That's full. Alright, so that's done. Any leaks? There's no leaking, nothing coming out of there, so we'll drain the first one. So far no leaks. Drain the second one. We've got a leak. Where's that coming from? Oh, it's out of the egg pipe. Well, what I need to do is, this isn't a seal, it's just a quick bit of egg pipe that hasn't got a seal. It doesn't really need a seal, but I've got to put something in there. Don't know what yet. I think I might just flood it with silicone and just screw it up there. Hopefully it won't leak. Might try that. Now I've got that jointing stuff. That pipe cement, PVC, and it is PVC, but it will stop screwing up straight away. Let me think about this one. Okay, here we go again. And test it out. I've sealed it up. Actually sealed it up with sealant and taped it as well, just to keep it fully sealed. It's going to be fine. I'll fill these up properly. Get a bit of water going. And around the pipe towards the drain. It's just not long enough. Right, we'll pull the plug. Nothing leaking. Looking pretty good. Can't whinge about that. Let's see if it's coming out in the backyard. Okay. That's weird. What's happened? I don't think there was enough water to go for it to the end. Oh, we'll put more water in. Okay. And it works. Look at that. Pity it's not near the drain. So I have to extend this. I just have to get a little bit more pipe and extend it. It's a bugger. It's supposed to go to here. But it didn't. It goes to there. But that's alright. I can water my garden, so it's fine. Alrighty, I'm back at it. The reason why it's taken 4 days to do this is I've had to wait for the varnish to dry and set. The varnish is there just to protect the wood a little bit. I'm not really worried about it. It is a shed. So the last job I have to do, 2 jobs I have to do. First, I want to put some sort of covering over here, and I'm thinking maybe that black cloth I had already. Grain fibre is going to be exposed. And this. I want to try and recycle everything I've got to actually be able to use this. And the only way to do that is to, because I want that to, basically I want that to be flush against there like this. So I've got to fill that gap. It's only a small amount. All I need is just 4 more of these. I'll cut them and join it to the end of this, and I'll varnish it, and that way all this will look the same right through. So I'm doing that now, and that's all I've got to do with that, and then I have to clean up. It's a mess in here and I need to get it cleaned. Alrighty, we'll get into it. Alright, I'm about halfway through cleaning up. It's looking pretty good. It's starting to come up pretty spiffy. I'm deciding where I'm putting everything and making sure that it all fits and looks neat. But now I've been called to go and have a cup of coffee with some friends. So I'll be back in about 2 hours to finish the job. Alright, we'll see you then. Alright everybody, I'm mostly finished. I'm really happy with the results. It took a bit of time to walk around, see what else I could do, ask my family's opinion, what they think I should do with the area. A few things I need to change, but that's going to happen in the future over time. I don't know. A couple of them is this middle part here, which hides the grandfather. This lid will be removable, and at the moment it's just a bit tacky. I've still got paint on it, or varnish. That will be replaced with something a bit more higher quality. It doesn't look too bad as it is. The front here I'm going to cover. I'll put a little rod along here and put like a cloth curtain here, maybe. Any suggestions would be great. Yeah, so a couple of little changes. Wiring, of course I've got to run wiring to different spots. Over here my laptop will sit, because I do use my bike for training, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I've done this is because there was no room to move around, and I've really made a crap load of room in here, so it's really good. A couple of things in the corner. This is all my files, cabinets, things like that, all the files and everything go in there. I will be changing a few things around here a little bit. That's just as I go. Hoses are going to stay there. This is going to be my attachment area. Underneath, there's a lot of opportunity to put something there. I could probably put a bench there, or a small cabinet or something like that. But this corner here, in the winter time, this is going to be my brew corner. This is where I'm going to do a wine today. I'm going to temperature control it, and because our temperatures don't go above 18 degrees here in town at the moment, I can do a wine at the moment, and it'll be pretty good. Keep the temperature about 18 to 20 degrees and it'll be spot on. That I'll do today. This is the first brew I'm going to do in this shed after it's been renovated. Yeah, so a couple other reasons why I put the sink here. Basically the window's there, as you can see. And when I film, I used to film more like this with the door closed, and well, I've got more light now. So basically I can stand here, do a beer tasting, and have a little bit of a backdrop behind me, a little things you guys can see, and probably, it could be interesting stuff. Maybe I can change it up a little bit depending on what I'm tasting at the time, just to make it a bit more interesting to watch, hopefully, but also for my own enjoyment. I like doing this, and it's a really enjoyable hobby. And if you guys do too, give us a little bit of a comment and let me know. So that's it. The brew shed is complete for now. Also, I'd like to thank my Patreon members for helping me build this. Basically, they supply small amounts of funding for me to be able to increase my quality of brewing, and this is definitely something I've been saving for quite some time, and I'm really wrapped with it. Of course, I've recycled a lot of timber, and it's come out really good. I'm really happy with it. Alright guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. Have a great one. It's time for a beer. I'm going to bring a chair in here. I'm going to sit back and drink a beer or two. Cheers guys, see ya.